Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our IndyCar career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we are here for the month of May kicking off at the Indianapolis road course. This is such a very specific and important month in IndyCar and for our IndyCar career, of course. This is an opportunity to put ourselves on the map for next season and get a potential top tier ride for season 2 in this career mode series. Now, of course, as we're heading out on track for practice in this number 51 machine, but Indy road course, and then of course the next episode, the biggest race in the world, the Indianapolis 500 coming up here. So that's going to be such a huge event that we're going to be, of course, trying to run as well as we possibly can, of course, now, and hopefully get a top 10 on the oval. That would be a huge opportunity for us. Of course, we're coming off of 2 rough Grand Prix. The wreck in Long Beach took us out early, and then we had that self-spin in Barber in the last episode where we really struggled. Fortunately, Indianapolis road course, a track that I'm quite familiar with over the last few years now. The NASCAR, of course, goes here now. It's allowed me to have a lot of practice here. Of course, driving an IndyCar, though, is completely different. But practice went okay. I was pretty happy with it now as we were focusing on the 10-minute qualifying here. Now, I've been doing a lot of qualifyings on the primary black stripe tire. I decided to change things up. We're going to be qualifying on the alternate red stripes here, so we're going to have a bit more grip, a little bit more pace compared to the black stripe primary. Of course, that just has more longevity in that tire. So here we are kicking things off. My first lap, just over 7 minutes left in the session at this point, getting through turn 1 pretty well. Still finding that I can push a little bit harder. You're going to notice my lap times just improve over the course of the races. I just find I can just push way harder. Like I said, completely different driving style with an IndyCar versus a NASCAR Cup Series car around this circuit. Now you have to drive it so different, especially with the braking zones and then the exits of the corners, just way more aggressive on both ends. As you can see, though, coming through to complete my first lap with a bit of help from Malukas there in front of us. We cross the stripe. We actually go P1, and you're gonna see we beat Ferrucci, Pato O'Ward, Callum Eilert, Grosjean ruins my party immediately, and it was pretty short-lived. I would drop down to P21. I would set another quicker lap with a 1:13.796, and that would be P20, and unfortunately I couldn't go any quicker throughout the rest of the session. As you can see, a lot of shade covering the track at the end, but just not quick enough. So P20, honestly not too disappointed with that, about where this car I feel like should be as we were getting ready to settle in for the race. You see, Kyle Kirkwood looks like a potential threat here again this weekend now, as he's already got 2 wins on this season. We'll see if DeFrancesco can hang on up front now. So I actually had to pause right here. I was about to start the race, then I got a tornado warning. Yeah, so that was a bit awkward. And then the Chainsmokers were hosting a live event where they were playing their new song coming out, so I also had to go listen to that during the tornado warning. No tornado hit my house, can confirm, so we're all good. But yeah, here in Canada, we don't get those too often, maybe once a year where I am. But nonetheless, we're racing here in Indianapolis. 30 laps of racing here with Devlin DeFrancesco on pole position, Kyle Kirkwood in second place, Santino Ferrucci in third. Now, I've made some rating changes to try and replicate more real-life realism for these drivers. However, Ferrucci is running third when I made sure he really should not be running third position, so I was a bit surprised by that. We get through the first couple corners out right now. Field run is going to be about 16 to 18 laps, and we're probably going to split the race in half, and I'll come in at the end of lap 15. Immediately here you see Kyle Kirkwood, as we've gotten through the chicanes, already going for an overtake here now, as he's going to try and go around the outside, and sure enough, to the lead, Kyle Kirkwood is another driver I lowered the rating for, so I lowered his rating and he's gotten better. And we have seen so far this season, if Kirkwood takes the lead, he's not letting it go, so good luck beating him here today. Now, of course, coming off of Roman Grosjean's first career win in IndyCar in the last episode, and then we've had, like we said, Kirkwood win back-to-back there in Texas Oval, and then, of course, go into Long Beach and win there. And the only other winner, aside from the 2 mentioned, is Marcus Ericsson in the season opener in Sebring. I myself having a decent start here, poking the nose up the inside of Pato O'Ward, who's having a bit of a rough start. I actually used push to pass on the front straightaway at the end of lap 1 to try and complete a pass on him down into turn 1. He outbrakes me, and then actually a little bit of a kick from the back end there. I lost a lot of confidence very quickly in the rear of the car, so I kind of backed out of it there and settled in. But we're definitely going to have an opportunity to make some overtakes here. And Kirkwood and actually Callum Eilert sending one up my inside very briefly, but we would stay ahead there and in control of P20 at this point in time. So qualified 20th, running P20. As you can see, O'Ward actually making a pass on the defending champ of Willpower, who's had a really rough start to the season. You should start to see some improvement from him as soon as next episode, however, here now is you're going to see myself along the left side here. And yeah, Will Power right now really struggling in that Penske car. So we're going to go up the inside. He's going to try and fight, just not enough there. So we go through into the 19th position now as we continue to try and attack now. A lot of shade covering this first half of the circuit here now, putting a lot of pressure again on Pato O'Ward here. As you saw myself cycling through some of the car adjustments. I've lowered my brake bias quite a bit over the course of the weekend, and now I didn't really adjust it after about lap 5 or 6. I kind of made my final adjustments on it here. Now here we are with an opportunity again, a huge run, no push to pass needed, but I just wasn't confident enough to send it on O'Ward there, so we're gonna have to stay put again and wait for the right opportunity. You can see he's driving very defensively here now, and we're putting a lot of pressure on the McLaren driver. I want to be with McLaren next season. I think if you get me on McLaren, we can do some big things for season 2. Now lap 7, the sun has poked out here, so hopefully just like the sun, we can heat things up here on circuit. Now, as I was pretty happy with my pace, I feel like we have way better than 19th place. It's just I gotta find a way around O'Ward. You can see the battles happening around the circuit. Here's Santino Ferrucci about to move up into second place. You got Grosjean and Ericsson just behind, ready to pass, but Ferrucci into second place there. So his second solid run of the season. He had a good season opener back in Sebring. How about this right there? You saw it. O'Ward goes wide on the exit of turn 1. That brings me right into the party. Push to pass on the exit of the chicane, and this is going to be the perfect opportunity. He's right in the middle of the track. I'm going to swing to the left now, so we'll be up the inside here into the corner, nearly clear. He finds back. He brakes a lot later than I am, more just comfortable with. I definitely could brake at the same time as him. It was just more the confidence and comfort in this car wasn't quite there to do that. So here we are now completing that pass, so lap 9 at this point, up to P18 as we're trying to close in on the back of Graham Rahal. You got Newgarden again struggling, him and Will Power. Penske overall just kind of struggling so far this season, as well you think about Scott McLaughlin. So we expect to see some upgrades for Penske coming in, well, their biggest race, Indy 500, of course, owned by Roger Penske himself at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, IndyCar in general, of course, owned by Roger Penske. So of course he does not want to see his team underperforming, I should say here. Lap 12 now, and here we are closing in on the back of Graham Rahal. Do I send one up the inside? I have the confidence now. Here we go, wheel to wheel through the first turn. Now he goes a little bit wide. We continue side by side. We are continuously able to just outpace these guys, outgrip them with the red stripes. Of course, now they are on those black stripe primary tires, so they're going to start to be able to outpace us here, I would assume soon. But you can see myself, I just continue to go forward. Here's Newgarden now making a move on Benjamin Peterson. Still trying to get to know everybody here now. As by the way, if you guys watched Iowa this past weekend, what did you think of it? I didn't get to watch the races in full, but I did catch bits and pieces, and I thought they were okay for an over race. I didn't think they were too bad. So there you see Newgarden around the outside now. Actually, you can see Peterson is also on the red stripes now, so you can start to see maybe the red stripes are falling off a little bit here as Newgarden was able to go through on the black stripe primary, and you can see right there Peterson not making it an easy overtake, but nonetheless we complete it. Up into P16 we go here. Now, as I decide, we're going to split this race in half here. I felt like those red stripes were starting to fade a little bit, so I decided we're going to come into the pits, put on the black stripe primaries, and, well, go to the end of the race, of course. It's looking like, again, another incident-free race here, as the AI are very hit or miss. Some tracks, they're wild, they're crazy. Some tracks, just not much happens, and that was the case in Long Beach, kind of, aside from my own mistakes. Barber was one of the most boring races I've ever done in any racing video game, to be completely honest, and Indianapolis so far. Aside from the good on-track battles, it's a very calm race again here now. A lot of drivers are coming into the pit lane now, and of course Kyle Kirkwood out in front will head into the pit lane, but he is under no contest at this current point in time here. So we exit with 15 to go. Down in P26, a bit of a slide right there to the final turn. I put the push to pass on to try and gain some of that time back, and we exit right around Joseph Newgarden's area here. So we don't lose anything. We don't really gain anything either, nearly into the back of Newgarden. And got to remember that these AI, they struggle hard on cold tires. So this is our opportunity to do that. Go around Newgarden and now to the back of Elio Castroneves. Look at this. I'm getting his name finally right with ease. But here we go. Up the inside of Elio. We're going to make the overtake now. So I'm not quite sure, obviously, yet what position this is going to be for. But here we are now on Scott Dixon as well on those red stripes. So these guys, of course, have the advantage of starting on the black primary and now can switch over to those red stripes for the final part of the race and be really really quick. But we got past Dixon. However, we are up to P13, but the downside is those red stripe tires behind us are heated up and closing the gap now. You're about to be under an immense amount of pressure here as I'm trying to close in on the back of Felix Rosenqvist, but it's just unlikely to happen. You got Alex Palou up there as well, of course, dominating in real life, not having as great of a season here in the career mode. As I say, I continue to try and balance it the best I can over the course of the next few episodes, but you can see, looking in my mirror, we have a mirror full of Scott Dixon, Joseph Newgarden, Elio Castroneves. They were putting a lot of pressure on me. Fortunately, we stay ahead at this current point in time, but Elio actually was able to make an overtake on Dixon, so he would move up into 14th place. I'm trying so desperately to stay ahead of these guys and just put down really good lap times, with the fastest lap being lap 18 with a 1:14 second time. Kyle Kirkwood still out in front of Santino Ferrucci, Grosjean in 3rd place, DiFrancesco and Ericsson 4th and 5th. As you can see, the rest of the field, there's Colton Herta having a decent run, not a great run, but a respectable run to say the least here. Now, as you can see, Scott McLaughlin in the battle with Rosenqvist as well as Palou. 3 cars there right together, and then I am probably going to be under a lot more pressure here very soon from the cars behind, side by side in the background there. Peterson on Rahal, Will Power just behind as he's closed the gap to these two. Of course, he fell hard early on in the race, and then you see in the background, Pato O'Ward just having a rough day. Things not going the way it should for him. As you can see, the rest of the field, there's Malukas, Armstrong as well, Connor Daly, all having pretty abysmal runs. Armstrong's another one I increased the rating for, so I was surprised to see him running so poorly in this episode. Now, watch my rear view mirror though. Elio Castroneves sizing up and moving to turn 1. He just is able to outbrake me, outgrip me into the corner, and now he peeks the nose, and I'm going to give him the space, of course, that he is entitled to. A legend of IndyCar racing, Indy 500 champ, of course, just a few seasons ago now, as we are going to lose the position. Down to 14th place we go. I don't want to do anything stupid because this is going to be a potential career best day and just an overall impressive day for the young rookie Canadian we are here in IndyCar. We want to be the next Canadian to represent IndyCar here. Not DiFrancesco. I want it to be me. So nonetheless, you can see though that I'm struggling for grip, and I was pushing really hard to try and keep up with Castroneves, and it just wasn't quite working. Fortunately, there was enough slipstream. I was still able to be close enough to have a pull from him down the straightaway, so I really wasn't under pressure anymore from Dixon as long as I was close enough to Castroneves. But as these laps wind down, lap 24 of 30, it looks like it's going to go green the whole race for the first time this season. No debris cautions on the way either, thank God. But yeah, we're still losing time, but the black stripe primaries are starting to get into that point where they're turning on compared to the red stripes alternates. So we're going to have pace right at the end of this race, and we're sticking within striking distance of Castroneves. We're about 1.2 seconds back, 0.8 of a second ahead of Scott Dixon once we cross the line, but now 1.8 seconds ahead, lap 27, 1.3 behind Castroneves, so we still are losing time to Elio, but are pulling away from the cars behind. Elio's closing in on the back of Alex Palou, but I am getting closer now as we close in towards these final moments. Now, Roman Grosjean, I don't know what happened, but Grosjean would actually have to come into the pit lane for his second pit stop, so he was actually going to drop all the way to the back of the field, so that will move us up into P13 with an opportunity to hopefully attack Elio for 12th place. Him getting closer to Palou allowed me to do this, get back into striking distance. He was kind of stuck in a bubble right there. He couldn't get any closer to Palou than he was right now, and that was bringing me right back in it. You see in the bottom right, the gap last time around, 1.5 seconds, so he was continuing to open the gap, but now it was down to under a second with just 2 laps to go. Continuing to pull away from Scott Dixon, I was really hustling this car, looking for a 12th place result. That would be huge for us here in our rookie season. I said the month of May, of course, a big opportunity to impress, get a top tier ride, hopefully at least get on the radar. Well, we're coming around the final turn to take the white flag here in Indianapolis. Kyle Kirkwood with a walk-off victory with ease here today. Once again, we're going to go on board all last lap here though in Indianapolis uninterrupted. Look at the run we have with the push to pass. That has brought us into the fight now, as I don't think any of us, myself or Castroneves, are going to have an opportunity to put any attack on Alex Palou. Palou's probably loving what he sees in his rear view mirrors right now, with me having an opportunity now to pounce sideways there out of the right-hander through the chicane. Crucial to get through here while using my last push to pass that I have available here. Of course, they start with 10 in the game, as we're going to look up the inside of Castroneves. What a run we have, side by side, wheel to wheel, and here we go, closing in contact actually with Castroneves now, as he is not going to give it up easy. I honestly thought he was going to lift out, but no, he does not. We're slipping and sliding, and Castroneves stays ahead for now, but we're going to continue to fight right there within a couple car lengths still now, as we're going to head up to a heavy braking zone. Kyle Kirkwood is about to cross the line to take the victory here. I'm going to look up the inside, send it one final time up the inside of Elio. You can see the brake rotors glowing there on the right front of his car. A bit of grass right there on the right side. We continue side by side through the penultimate corner. One corner to go. We're going to be drag racing here through this corner, side by side, out of the final turn, down the front straightaway. It's going to be a drag race to the line still. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Elio, barely by 6/1000ths of a second here in the Indianapolis road course. We end up P13. What a last lap scrap that turned into here, that I really did not expect to have an opportunity to have with just a couple laps to go in this race. Career best finish overall, a great day here for us, and now this leads us into the Indy 500 in the next episode. That is going to be a pretty exciting one. There you see the finishing order on your screen. I forgot to show the points. I promise I'll show them in the Indy 500. If I'm not mistaken, Indy 500 is double points, but I'll have to get some clarification on that. That's going to wrap it up for us. So what a day here in Indy Road Course, a career highlight day for sure so far. Hopefully we can continue to build upon that resume going into the next one, and I'll see you guys then. We're not going anywhere. We're staying right here in Indy. I'll see you guys for the 500. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.